Hello, my name is MisterToddler, and today I'm going to bring you guys job stories. And so this is just a commentary, not a live commentary. This is just a gameplay I got with Loki on Joust. And so on my old channel, my most popular videos were always my stories. I had girlfriend stories, job stories. I kind of started on there and never really finished. And then I think I had drinking stories. So this audience here on this YouTube channel are probably going to be a lot different than the ones over there. So some of these stories, maybe if you've been with me for a few years now on YouTube, you probably have heard some of them. But for you guys, it's going to be brand new. I'd love to tell stories. These stories are going to be hopefully pretty funny. They're really funny to me at the times, especially. So we'll get into that in just a second. First off, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about this gameplay. This is just a Loki gameplay on Joust. I think I just recently got Loki mastered the night before, like only the first master thing. So I just wanted to play him. He's really easy to use for the most part. You just like basically kind of have to stay alive until you get your ult, until you get like an item or two into it, and then you just hop on whoever the squishiest person is. It's just simple as that. You just have to ult them before they ult you, and then you have to escape, and your team should be able to kind of help pick up the last two people. You know what I mean? So you're gonna be the first one to, or if they initiate, boom, you go hop on the big damage person on their team, kill him, and then, you know, help with the rest of the fight. So you see different things on here. I'm not like really good at Loki yet, but there's really not much to it. You know, it's just one strategy. It's not like you can go in, poke a little bit. You kind of can, but you have to have an escape out of there too. So really the beginning of this game is a lot of farming with my A button, and then we start going in for the kills, baby. Alright, so job stories. I'm going to go from my first job to all the way to my last one. Alright, so tell you just a little bit about that. And so some of this stuff might be like a little bit not safe for work that I'll get into later. I'll probably let you guys know. So, but who cares, you know? So the first job I had was at Adventureland, and Adventureland is, and by the way, I worked there for 6 years total. But I worked like 4 different jobs there. So it's an amusement park in Iowa. It's a pretty big one considering it's in Iowa. Like there's a ton of people there every day. It's really popular here. So it's definitely pretty. It's fun. It was fun to work at for the most part. So my first job there was a singing job, and I was 18. And the reason I hadn't worked before I was 18 is because I played baseball all the time for like high school and stuff like that, and like AAU. And I also played hockey, and I'd do travel hockey, and that'd be in the summer as well because I would do roller hockey. So it was really hard to be able to find a job just because I was so busy with sports. And I love just not having a job. I guess I just kind of waited on my parents, but I would just go hang out with friends all the time. I'd always be free. So anyways, but I needed a job going into the summer, going into my freshman year of college. I needed some money because now I was going to a private school. You know, we needed some extra funds and stuff like that. So I got a singing job, and the singing job is technically a professional singer. Okay, so I got technically, because what it was is I signed a contract with an agency, and I was getting paid to sing, which therefore makes me a professional singer for a year. And so literally all it was is that you had to do 8 shows a day. And there was 4 different types of shows. So each show you had to do that at least 2 times. One of them was a country show. The other one was a boys rock show, which was boy bands from like the 40s or 50s till now. And back then that was 2009, so that was Jonas Brothers was our final song. And then we did a kids show, which I had to dress up as a mascot. I was a dog in the middle of summer, and I sweat a lot, and it was horrible. And by the way, some of these commentaries, I'll probably try to add some pictures to it in the middle of it if I think they're relevant at the time. So just let you know, we'll have some pictures, some little evidence of that stuff. It'll probably be at the end when I start to switch to the next job. You know what I mean? After I'm done talking about the first job and then switch to the next one. So anyways, I'll add some pictures at one of the commentaries. And then the last show was like a little bit like a 70s to 80s rock and roll type of thing, kinda. You know, it wasn't like heavy metal or something like that. It was just like I don't know, Sticks or something. So yeah. Okay, hold on. I'll tell you guys about how I got that job too. It was just an ad in the paper, and my mom had made fun of me before. She's like, "Can you imagine doing that job up there?" Because there's like this stage that rises out of the ground at the little fast food joint there in the amusement park. And she's like, "Dude, can you imagine?" Like, she's like, I can't see you doing that." And that was like 2 years before, and there I was. I was doing that job. But the way I tried out, like I said, I saw an ad in the paper. I can sing. I always knew I could kind of sing. I got kicked out of show choir and varsity choir my sophomore year at the school because they took it really seriously. Like they'd always get like first or second place in national show choir stuff. And then in the varsity choir was like there was only 3 sophomores and I was one of them. Like sophomores never made it, and the freshman class didn't go to the same high school. Like they had a weird high school, like sophomore through senior, and then the freshmen in 8th grade had their own separate building. So I tried out, and I was really nervous. I actually had to tap dance for them. I used to tap dance, so I had to do like a little, because you had to go there, you had to have 2 songs. You had a song that you like to sing, you had a ballad, and then you have to do a dance for him, and then he has to do another dance for it. Like he'll do a choreography and see how you look doing it. So it was just me one-on-one with this guy. We were in the middle of the amusement park when nobody was there. It wasn't open, and we were in this like little cafe. So it was just really kind of creepy, and it's just a one-on-one little thing. Turns out I made it, and I beat out somebody. I beat out this guy that was really good at singing. He was like his dad was like a teacher for like singing, I believe. He was like always doing all-state choir, all this stuff. He was a really nerdy guy. I didn't like him. He was just so cocky. I just didn't like him. It's just simple as that. And but I mean, he was kind of nice. He was just really arrogant in general, and a little bit full of himself. So I beat him out, and the reason I beat him out, I found out, is because I didn't look as nerdy as him. So literally I got picked that I can sing, I can sing decent enough, and I looked alright. I wasn't nerdy looking, so that I got picked because of my looks, I guess. And I was like, that makes me feel a little bit okay, but then I felt like knowing that, because a girl that was in it, I was friends with in high school. I used to have a huge crush on her like 4 years before. I was like a puppy dog. She'd take advantage of it. She'd make me pay for shit to show weird shit. I was kind of upset. We kind of had a falling out because I was pissed at her. But because she was a huge drama too. But she was alright looking. She was alright. But anyways, so she's the one that told me that. So I go into this like practicing, because we had to start practicing. We had to start learning our stuff. So I go into it knowing that, hey, I'm going to be the worst singer here. I probably even shouldn't even be picked, so I'm nervous. And I never sang in front of people before, really. So I was really nervous. I hated it. I was like, what am I doing with my life? I can't read music. I was just way out of my element. Even during the auditions, he was making fun of me because he's like, "Dude, you look like a robot. You look like you're like, you're so stiff when you're dancing." I'm like, because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't belong here. And everybody else was like theater majors. They're like done choir forever. They've actually worked there for a couple years doing that job, so they were all into it, and here I am, felt kind of like the outsider. It turns out I wasn't. It turns out it just completely changed as I got to know the people. So anyways, we each had to get like 3 solos per show or something like that. I did get the least amount of solos because, like I said, I wasn't doing very well at the beginning. But he was stuck with me. So the show started, and all that stuff. So now we get to the actual stories rather than the basis, like my beginning. Like, how superheroes have their past, like their, what do they call them? Like their beginning stories. There's a word for it, but yeah. So that's where it all began. My professional singing career. So some of these are gonna be a little bit out of place, but I remember one story. It was my favorite. There was these girls, and like, okay, hold on, our boys rock show, which was our 3 dudes, we were just in front of a ride, we were just doing our little boys rock, our little boy band thing, and a lot of people loved it. That was probably everybody's favorite show. Even the girls, it was their favorite show when they had their own girls show. They were jealous of us. We rocked it. I have a tape of it too. I'll link it later. I'll link the video later so you guys can kind of see what it was, what it looked like, and stuff like that. Nothing too special, but at one point, we finished up our show, taking back our little stereo equipment, and there's these girls following us. There's 4 girls. They were probably preteens, and or teenagers, like younger teenagers. And so they're following us, and we kind of had a suspicion, but we weren't for sure. We didn't want to turn around and blatantly look back at them. And so we were checking out, and one of the guys we worked with, he had worked there before in games, and he was a gay guy. He was gay, super nice dude. I love him. His name was Jake. He was a really cool friend, and so he was like, we're gonna test it out and see if they're actually following us, all right? He's like, I'm gonna veer off and talk to one of my old game friends, and you guys keep going forward. And I was like, all right. So we kept going forward, and I was like, hey man, I was like, let's see. I'm gonna see if they go past us or if they like stop or what they're gonna do. He said, I'm gonna tie my shoe really quick. And like, by the way, they had the flip flops, so obviously you could hear them like a stampede. You know, I was okay. That was a kiss noise. That wasn't even a flip flop noise. So whatever flip flop noise is, you know what I'm talking about, where it smacks your foot. You know how it makes that little suction noise, whatever it was. So you could all hear them trampling behind us and whispering and talking, and you know, you couldn't really hear what they were saying. So I bent down to tie my shoe. The flip flop stopped, and I didn't really have to tie my shoes. So the whole time there, I was like geeking out. I'm like, oh my god, they're actually just completely stalking me right now. And they probably stopped. They probably didn't want to follow the other guy. I'm sure they were kind of stalking him as well. But they're stalking all of us, and it was hilarious. So I hurried and caught up to my friend. I'm like, dude, they stopped right behind him. He's like, I know, I looked. And so we got behind because the next stage was at a church, our next show. So we're behind the church, and we saw them pacing back and forth because there's a walkway to us, but they couldn't get they're not allowed back where we were, but they could see us, so they kept pacing back and forth looking at us, and it was just so awkward. And then when we're in the church, it has one of those windows, those like those like little colored windows. Well, we can see out, but they can't see in. And so we were looking at them. They were all in the front row, all lined up, applying makeup. They're applying makeup, they're looking in their little cell phone mirrors, and checking them, doing their stuff up. And so the whole time, like, the girls came in there, we caught them up what was going on, and they were laughing, messing with us. So we go out there, and they were kind of split up. They were in front of different rows, like 2 was in the front left row, 2 was in the front right row. And I remember, like, at the beginning, I looked over to the right, and this girl, dude, she was just, like, staring up at my friend that was singing, and it was just, like, looked in her eyes, like, she was just mesmerized, like, she just saw, like, for instance, like, Hercules. She just saw Hercules. She's like, I was so love-struck, and I couldn't sing. I had to literally stop because I was laughing so hard, and I had to try to hide it, though, so I had, like, a huge smile, and it was just, like, I can't make a noise, so I just didn't even bother singing. And it was absolutely hilarious. So, after that show, we knew they were going to come follow us to the next one. And, we go out there, and we're, like, looking around. We're like, dude, we don't see him. Like, where are they? Maybe we're going to get away from this. And one of the guys, this random guy, complete random guy, he's like, hey, I think you guys have some followers. Because all of a sudden, we saw the girls over. They're all together. And they started chasing us down. And we started, like, walking really fast, swerving in and out with people. And we could just hear them. The flip-flops are getting faster and louder. So we finally got to our dressing room. We got ready for the next show. There they were again. And by the way, I feel really bad about this, that we probably should have handled this better. It was just kind of creepy at the time, because like we were like at least 5 years older than them, probably. And I know I was like one of the younger guys there. I might have been the youngest one out of the group. And so the other guy I was with, he was a year or 2 older than me, so it was probably even creepier for him. So we were kind of like creeped out at the moment. We never, like it was like a paparazzi type moment, We're getting stalked. We're essentially getting stalked around our shows, which is fine. It was just kind of creepy, and so I'm kind of embarrassed how we did this next part. But so we did our next show. They were there. They were there out in the audience. I kind of played it out. Like I'd wave to like a couple of them. So I was just trying to be nice and stuff like that. So at the end of it, we knew they were gonna be waiting out of our dressing room, and we wanted to go home. So I think we were gonna go party that night actually. And so we were like, all right, how are we gonna get out of here? Well, the way is, there's a huge hill behind us where this other ride is, and you could kind of walk through the grass and get around the ride and go and like do like a little huge semicircle to the exit, because they were waiting right where we're supposed to do at our exit, because like one of the girls that were like, hey, can you go check to see where they're at? So she did. She would check. She's like, hey, they're waiting right out the gate, right where the the dressing room ends, and so we're like, all right, how are we gonna do this? How are we gonna escape? Because it's kind of fun for us at the moment. We're like, all right, we're gonna be like spies or something. And so what we did was army crawled up the hill, because if we stood up, they would have seen us over it. But if we army crawl and then get up at the right moment and just start running, we can get away. So we totally just army crawled. We got away. They didn't catch up to us. I felt kind of bad. But I'll tell you guys a little bit more stories. We had somebody that was that really liked me. He wanted to pee on me. I'll explain that in a future episode. We got like a little orgy thing going on. So hope you guys enjoyed. See you later.